Good evening, everybody. Today is Friday, July 22nd, and the frickin' mosquitoes are out, hot and heavy. I was doing some shopping around today. Didn't really buy anything, but probably am gonna. Anyhow, earlier this week went to Ag in Motion, and oh, was it so good. I was a kid in a candy store without the money. Well, much like a kid in a candy store. I want that, I want that, I want that. And yeah, it was awesome. I'm never going to waste my time going back to Farm Progress or Canada's Farm Show in Regina. It used to be awesome. It ain't anymore. Anyhow, today I got back, did some crop checking. It's time to spray second pass on my lentils. So I'm going to do that tomorrow morning. It's still a bit warm out. But I found some aphids in my lentils. So I'm adding some insecticide. You're not really supposed to spray that stuff above 25 degrees. And we're right at 25. And so I'm not going to spray tonight. I'll spray in the morning. Whew. The reason why I'm going to spray in the morning, because by the time I got down there to do what I need to spray, it would probably be cooled off. The problem is going down gets a little ugly looking. So no point in doing it if it's going to rain or if it's going to get hailed out or whatever. So we'll wait and see on that. This way, on the other hand, looks kind of pleasant, but these storms can turn and go whatever way they want. They seem to have a mind of their own. So I'm going to check the peas because aphids seem to like peas as well, and I've been hearing stories of guys having to spray peas. So I'm just going to wander in a little bit. Here, let's turn the... It's not a great looking crop of peas. If you go a little further out, you can see the wet spots have gotten drowned out. Spots like this where it didn't germinate very well because it was too wet. Ow, thistles coming in. It's up and down, but there's still some good in here. I'm gonna grab a nice healthy looking sample. That'll work. And we have a very, very high-tech method of detecting aphids. I got about 2, maybe 3 plants worth. And you can look at it. I can already see a few small ones crawling. They're very hard to see with the camera. There's one big one in there. But you want to see the whoa, look at my arm. That's not a good sign. The easiest way. Ugh. So one whack, and yeah, there's probably like 400 of them. Yeah, that's not good. So on top of needing to wash my truck because it's covered in mosquito guts, we're going to have to start spraying tomorrow, hopefully. Again, if it's going to be too hot, we're kind of spraying morning and evening. God, there's a lot. So, yeah, that's my weekend pretty much ruined. Overall, though, you can see the peas are starting to pod out. They're still flowering. Still some flowers to come. What's here has survived the heat decently well. As always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. Send me some questions, comments. I'll try and respond to anything I can. And enjoy the videos. All right, so we are out. This would be the 23rd? Yeah. Morning of the 23rd, so good morning everybody. So spraying the lentils. This is the second pass of fungicide, and I've thrown in some insecticide because there's aphids in here. Overall, I'm fairly happy with the crop. I'm not very happy with the weed control. That's because the way things went last fall, we were quite busy trucking, and then it was still warm. We were doing all of our post-harvest spraying, and then I wanted to put down some it's a residual chemical. So you spray it right before things start freezing up. So pretty much when you have to start putting the sprayer in overnight, you need to spray it, and it makes a film. It kind of just sits there all winter, and then once you get some rain or melt water in the in the spring, it makes a film that certain weeds won't grow through. Most weeds won't grow through. Unfortunately, we were busy trucking, and it went from okay, we're close to okay, it's really cold, it's too cold to spray, and we never got that done. I'd hoped to do it in the spring, didn't really work out. If I grow lentils again, I will likely do that. I will make sure I do that, or possibly put down some edge. Edge is granular. The problem with edge is that we don't have a Valmar set up on our harrows to work it in. So, several problems that we have. One simple solution is that we probably need a hired hand. That's something we're going to be looking at after harvest. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a full-time hired hand for next year. It's just getting to be too much going on with the trucking, with all the other operations. I have lots of dirt work I want to do in the fall. I have lots of fence line I want to rip out in the summer. All that sort of stuff. So, something we got to look into. And, then we can keep busy doing repairs and whatnot and be ready. Be a little more ahead of the ball. So, yeah, things are going good. You might notice that the field acres don't match up. That's because I forgot to start that guy until halfway through my headland, so I was about 20 acres behind. I'm trying to follow my old tracks as best as possible to minimize the tramp loss, because the stuff that was sprayed last time, which was, I believe it was 15 days ago, is when I sprayed. And actually this spot up here is what I'm going to go around, because I almost got stuck there. Let's see if I can find that. And the lentils are still flowering. They're in the final stages of flowering, but if we get white mold while it's flowering, she's toast. So it's already starting to pod up and go to seed, and you can definitely see that's where I almost got stuck. Let's go this way around. Fungicide, insecticide, you don't have to have absolutely perfect coverage, but it helps a lot. It's not worth going back and tramping all that for the... Get online. Took a while to get there. Just for that 1/10 of an acre, if that much. So you can see a lot of sow thistle, and I'm guessing some narrowleaf hawksbeard coming through. So the aphids, in a normal year when things are dry, which is when they seem to be the worst, they'll get on the plants and they'll just start sucking water out of plants. That's pretty much what they do. A lot of times that might not do a ton of damage depending on what kind of crop you have, but it can do a lot of damage. The real kicker is when they start eating the flowers or sucking the fluid out of the flowers, because if you don't have a flower, you don't get pollination. If you don't get pollination, you don't get seed. So each of those nodes turns into a potential pod. I think it's just one seed per pod with this stuff, versus peas where you can have multiple. You can see I got some kochia coming in. That's bad. I don't like it. I'm really not happy. But overall, I am very happy with the lentils. I believe just an unofficial trial, so there's still some spots that they might have got some disease. Some of it just looks really thin, like it got partway germinated and kind of fizzled out. Nothing you can do about it. I don't think me spraying in the last couple of days would have made the difference, but who knows? That's kind of what they advise, is about every 2 weeks. So what I've really noticed is the spots. Okay. The spots where it's I'll show you another strip here in a bit, but so we did some at 1.3 bushel an acre where we seeded that's how much seed we put down. And that's this stuff right here. I think it looks very healthy overall. And actually, this is the spot where I almost got stuck. You can see water laying in the ruts up here. So we're gonna go around. See? That was not fun last time. So the stuff where it's 1.3, I believe, is better. Looks better. Looks better on the satellite imagery. And actually, when I was at a golf tournament there, the one guy that grows a lot of lentils about an hour and a half away from here, he said, no, you should be putting it in at 1.3. So we kind of had a dumb mistake that worked out right. Sounds like everybody else around here targets that 1 or anywhere from 0.9 to 1.1 bushel an acre seed rate. So we'll see what, at the grand scheme of things, is, you know, at the end of the day, it's bushels. So bushels per acre matter. The other thing that's a major issue out here is once we get a bit further up, it seems like there was some residual chemical on the west side. So this used to be farmed. This is owned by my dad and my uncle, and they used to farm it separately at one point. So the west side was my uncle's, the east side was my dad's. At one point, this was my grandfather's land, and before that, it was my great-grandfather's land that he got from in the Settlers Act. So he came and he broke it. The homestead was somewhere over there. Let's get this turned. So you can kind of see a line in the weeds there. I guess I can, you probably can't. But the plant density is quite different. You start seeing it get burned up that way, and you can start seeing more weeds that way. And I'm really not sure what it is, because it's been about 7 to 8 years where it was farmed exactly the same. So it's a mystery to me what caused that. It's a mystery to all of us what caused that. Alright, so this side of the field, you'll notice is a lot thinner. Kind of some stressed plants. A lot of weeds here. Ugh, this looks bad here. This is a low spot. But what I'm, there's lentils in here in places. Oh God, it just looks so bad right now. But all these, what's the most concerning to me is all these little white flowers. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but that is what's called scentless chamomile, and it is an absolute pain in the ass to try and get rid of. So there's a fair bit out there. I don't know what to do with it, especially at this stage in the game. So got to develop a plan for that. It is a very, very tough weed to get rid of. We've been fighting it for about 10 years on this. Oh, it'll be more than that, probably 20 on this. And maybe I should have waited another year before putting lentils out here, because I was thinking we had pretty good control of it last year. But it was wrong. I guess you guys can't really see it, I'm guessing. But I might come out here and try and pick some by hand, but shit, there's a lot of it. And that just boils my blood. That white stuff. Alright, so as you can probably see, some of the peas do not look very good. Others, kind of decent. Others, like, not so much this, but more along the line of all of that, look pretty good. So I said to myself, hey, I've had Climate Fieldview for a while. Let's see if I can figure out how to make a custom variable rate map for fungicide. So variable rate. First style is just simply on and off, where you go at a flat rate everywhere except where you don't want it. For example, I don't want anything sprayed here, so it's going to shut off right now. Almost entirely. Perfect. Very simple. That can be applied to both liquid and granular. Whoops. And then there's the secondary version, which is true variable rate. Now, that can have several different steps for rates between your maximum and your base rate, and also an off. So you might say, my max rate is, 400. That's an easy number. 400 pounds of fertilizer that I'm going to put down. So in the best areas, which should be your lower land, typically, I'm going to go full rate, which is, we'll call it number 5, 400 pounds. Then at the slightly less good spots, we're going to put 300 pounds down. And at the not so good parts, we're going to put 200. And then everywhere else, we're going to put 100 as my absolute minimum, except for spots that I want off, which could be a slough or maybe this water run. I'm not gonna put fertilizer in it, but I might put seed in it instead. So you can have multi-products and multi-rates within that. That is true variable rate, but with spraying, doesn't really pay much to do variable rate at different rates, because all you're doing then, if you're doing herbicide, is you're creating tolerance to herbicides, same as fungicides. So it's on off, and like there's not a lot of value in over applying fungicides. There is some value in over applying herbicides, especially if you have areas that are prone to difficult weeds, say a really big kochia patch. In a place where that would really pay off is if you had variable rate. You could do it by applying more product. Definitely could. Definitely might this fall. But where it'd be really slick is if a guy had direct injection, and you could say, I'm spraying it 5 gallons an acre everywhere, and my blend is 1 liter an acre. But where the kochia is, I want 2 liters an acre. That would work really well. You can see I've got the two maps side by side. This is kind of as sprayed, and this is what I used for the creating the variable rate map that's on the back there. If you look, it has 5. I think I actually had 4 made, and so I had 4 zones instead of 5, and probably what I should have, and then what I did is I sprayed the top 3 zones of the 4. Probably what I should have done was spray the top 3 zones out of the 5 that you can see here. My zones looked a little bit different, and the reason I say that is just because it seems like a lot of the marginal areas or drowned out are a bit narrower than they should be. This one's pretty close, but it's pretty easy to be pretty close on this one. So, live and learn for next time. So I'm not going to spray this. You see, it's white, not spraying it. This pinkish stuff, that's what's being called to be sprayed. And so you can see I am spraying it. Kind of neat. I'm not a fan of this pinkish purple as the base layer, I guess. I would like it to be maybe a gray. So I'll see if I can figure out how to change that in the settings. But overall, it was quite easy. My one, probably 2 complaints is that I wish I would have had a more recent map. So the last good full scouting map I had from Climate Fieldview was at the end of June. So I had to kind of guesstimate, and some of the land has recovered since, some has drowned out since. So you would have liked it a little more updated. Also, I wish I would have some field heights in here, because again, there's some stuff that actually on satellite imagery doesn't look bad, but I know it's a low spot. This little low spot isn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be, so maybe I didn't need the height, like the ground elevation. Hard to say for sure. One thing for sure though is, as you can see, I'm spraying right now. There's nothing there. I should have been more aggressive on my field zones. Like, that's not very good stuff. Fungicide will not bring this back from... It doesn't bring damage back. It prevents damage from happening. But as you can see, it picked out that slough in front of me. Said, we're not doing that. Which it shouldn't. I don't plan on doing a ton of variable rate, but I will do variable rate in fields that I see a lot of value in it. For example, this. It doesn't make... Like, I wish I wasn't necessarily spraying this little area here, but I'm definitely happy I'm not spraying this. So that's instant money savings, because there is zero value to spraying fungicide and insecticide on that. But you know, this kind of weaker stuff, I wish it wasn't getting it too. All right, so we're done. I did 227 acres out of about 280 on this side of the tracks. Now, I probably should have, if I would have had better, you know, tighter tolerances or whatever, most of those could have been expanded a fair bit. I bet you I could have done 200 and saved myself maybe another 25 acres worth of chemical. Now that might not seem like a lot, but at 20 bucks an acre, and what did I say? Probably save myself, we'll lose 80 for simple math. Save myself $1,600 worth of chemical just by doing that. Right on.